bets.
No, and that's actually private. My financial situation, like I get a little uncomfortable showing people just how much money I'm one.
Also realizing today, happy St. Patrick's Day. Cody's wearing green. I don't know, he's like covering it up, but he's wearing green at least. He's got
a t-shirt on.
Nick, way to be a team player for Club 610 today.
Good morning to ya.
God, that was your Irish accent?
Let's hear it.
Are you going to participate in Club 610 today at 1 o'clock?
Oh, but of course.
That's so bad. That's just so bad.
Rob Collins will be.
We've already established my accent and yours. We've established that.
We did this
You
last
sound like
year.
an old, like, folksy Irish, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I go more stereotypical.
You sound like
leprechaun.
the Lucky Charms guy. Yeah, get it.
My voice isn't warmed up. If I could hit a higher octave.
So 1 o'clock today, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, once we get the pipe on.
Remember what happened last St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, there was something.
No?
There was an incident.
Well, we were in another pub.
There was some things that happened that led to the next day having some issues.
Then you sleep with the John Pete's couch. Then
Yeah.
you were too hungover to complete your job the following day.
At least I showed up to work the next day.
Yeah, that's better than
Unlike
us.
some people.
Well, mine was for like a true sickness. Yours was
Doesn't matter.
self-inflicted.
Doesn't matter.
We don't need to have this discussion again, but yeah, we were at No Other Pub last St. Patrick's Day. We did our show there.
Actually, I think we do need to have it
And I wasn't feeling well to the point where Nick said, basically, get the hell out of here. I did, and I left right after the show, and I did not do the show the next day. I assumed Cody was going to have Nick to do the show with him, and I was told that Nick left like an hour or so into the show.
You know, did the show
because Nick was hungover.
I left
not
4 hours into the show.
Did that on Pete's couch.
4 hours ago. I
It was
left
a
it.
5-hour
I
show.
left at the normal time that I usually do.
But I will say this.
Because the afternoon show couldn't be bothered to come into work that day.
Because one man respects St. Patrick's Day. You know who filled in all that time? You know who did 3 hours with me that day? Which is more work than either of you put in. Pete Sweeney.
Yes, he should have.
Pete Sweeney.
He's the whole reason that I wasn't feeling well. So I think he had an obligation to stay here for 3 hours.
He should come to Club 610 today. Green beers with us.
Okay.
I'm just going to name people. Like, they should come to 610.
Did you invite him?
Just random
well,
name people.
I will invite Pete. See if he wants to spot today. Rob Collins will be here. We know that. So, have a full house. Hasn't Dana Wright been trying to invite herself to Club 610?
She does want to come to Club 610. I bet you she's wearing green today. $100 says she's wearing a green shirt
No
today.
way I'm taking it. You'd have to give me 10 to 1.
That's my point. Yeah.
There's just no way. Maybe more than that.
Bring a green t-shirt, please. For crying out loud.
You green underwear on?
No. My panties black.
Did you call?
All right, we got to... So many times say we got to cut it. The problem is Nick on air is the one that normally cuts it, but okay, because that's another drop we need of Nick just saying.
You want to hear me talk about my panties more?
That's another drop, thank you.
It's Friday. Strong start, everybody. Do you guys want to make another parlay, put in our own money time, and see if we can win that way?
Considering how much more money you make than I do, could you cover my end?
Could I cover your end? What about Alex?
Well, and you got a bunch of money yesterday from listeners texting about.
Yeah,
I got $8. You also got money from listeners.
I got $1.
I didn't give out my Venmo account. You both gave out your Venmo account, so people were just Venmoing you guys. So for all we know, Cody's got hundreds of dollars to his Venmo account. We just don't
I believe
know.
it's $8. Would you like me? I haven't made any transfers. Do you need it to confirm the amount? Same rule applies, by the way. If you mention Justin Ross or John Ross on this show until they make the active roster, you have to Venmo the show $1 or you are blocked from the text line.
That's right, 913-586-7610. And we'll get us started on the text line today with our text from the 816. So Nick, 2 minutes ago, wouldn't talk about his bets and show us his bets, but he'll talk about his panties.
Some things are just too personal. Some things are just too personal.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
By the way, guys,
there's a great Sapelso skit about this.
I have a cool announcement. I know we teased it earlier in the week, but last night ever mock draft, and I will be debuting that at 1 o'clock today in Club 610.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're beating
You hear that, Bink? You hear that, Bink?
Mm-hmm.
Nick beating you to the punch releasing his mock draft.
Or if you guys, I can do it later this hour. I can do it in Nick's notable note.
You can do Nick's notable notes and miss the
double
1 o'clock
tap.
hour.
We call it double tap.
Get Rob Collins' opinion on 1 o'clock in Club 610. I want you to put some tech.
Whenever we talk about clubs, you automatically assume techno. So either you're stuck in the 80s or you think we're in like Bulgaria at like some underground rave.
That's the vibe I'd like for Club 610.
Okay.
Bulgarian underground rave.
Because I've been to a few clubs, they're never playing techno.
Cody thinks we're just in, like you said, it's some 90s movie, and they're at Club in Amsterdam. And Cody
it's like John Wick when he goes in that very first one.
Every club is in Amsterdam, and it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's in the 90s.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. Fair enough.
Although, by the way, another announcement during the 1 o'clock hour, you said you hadn't tasted it. I, last night, from scratch, made you a key lime pie.
I'm nervous about that.
So,
what are you nervous about?
The fact that he made it. That's why I'm nervous. I'm not any key lime pie.
My wife offered to make it instead.
I would have preferred that. Yeah.
Really?
Cody, there's serious questions. Your quality control in your kitchen. Man, there's some serious questions. The green onion and the Reese's peanut butter cup thing you made, there was a green onion in it. And
she did some cleanup in the kitchen before I cooked. Does that make you feel better?
Yes, it does, actually. And then the Cipino incident.
That, again, was not related.
The Cipino scare
so
of
there will
2021.
There will be key lime pie.
Okay.
Available for you. So you can't say, you can now, after today, if you don't like it, you can say, I don't like key lime pie, and it actually means it.
Okay.
Because you would have tasted it.
I will try it. Don't take offense if I don't like it, but I'll try it in the 1 o'clock hour today. And who knows? Maybe you'll surprise me. Maybe I'll be like, you know what? Now it's all about the key lime pie. We've got some NCAA tournament action tipping off around 11:15. The first game today will be that 10-7 matchup, USC, Michigan State. Then it'll be Xavier, Kennesaw State, and then Baylor in the 3-14. Two 3-14 games to kind of get the day started. Baylor and University of California, Santa Barbara. So those are the first three of the day. And, of course, later on tonight, we'll talk about the Kansas State Wildcats. They're the last game of the evening, or one of the last games, the third to last, 8:40 tonight. K-State, Montana State, right here on 610 Sports Radio, as a matter of fact. Another 3-14 matchup, and suddenly all three seeds are on high alert after what has occurred in the first couple games of the NCAA tournament. And certainly yesterday, one of the best moments of the tournament, I would say the best moment of the tournament. I know it wasn't the set by seed, but the best moment happened yesterday with Furman and Virginia.
The Cavaliers are playing with four guards, and the four guards out there, along with Cedric, are their best free throw shooters. Clark in a straight check. Oh, he didn't get down. He threw it away. Ping, cookies, score! Furman leads. Timeout, Virginia. Did we just see what we just saw? Wow!
Kevin Harlan on the call through TV yesterday. That happened at 1 o'clock hour of our show. That was the 68-67 lead. Furman would hold on in an upset Virginia. That is, we'll see what happens today, right? But that is
likely to be the moment of the first round.
Moment of the first, maybe the moment of the tournament, at least through day one. I understand that Princeton was the bigger upset in a 2-15 game, but that was the shot, and Kevin Harlan was on the call as always. That was the moment that'll stand up for this opening weekend for sure, at least.
Princeton was finishing on like free throws at the end with three. Like the drama didn't exist in the set for them. I went back and watched that. I had no idea what their plan was. That's a possession. He got trapped in the corner, and then rather than do anything that would have been wise in that point, he chucks it cross court, has it stolen, and then immediately, of course, the kid hit three. And then with him walking back to the locker room right after the game, he's like, he just freaking threw it. Like, he was just so confused about even the possibility of it.
This is the same player that has made some huge plays in Virginia basketball history, but that was an all-time blunder and poor pass. The decision making made 0 sense, like 0 sense considering. You expected that kind of pass. Let's say Furman, Cody, was up by a point or two late, and they're playing great. You expected maybe Furman to be the team that would make the dumb mistake and the dumb pass there, and then we're like, oh man, they had him and they blew it, and then Virginia wins. No, it was the experienced team that had been there before, that had been part of the national championship team, ends up with that mistake. So that was incredible. And then you mentioned that Princeton, this is how it sounded on Princeton's radio network when they knocked off number 2 Arizona.
Amy, turnaround three. That's an air ball. Ballo tries to save it. He does to Larson. Carissa down to 7. He launches a 3. It's no good. Taken by Wall with 3 seconds left to go. The Tigers are going to do it. Walmart's free throw is up and in with 3 seconds left to go. Missed it. Larson gets it. Throws it down the floor. It's over. 15. Princeton sets Arizona 59 to 55 in a shocker in Sacramento.
Arizona had just won the Pac-12 tournament a week ago. I don't know what idiots would pick Arizona to win the title. What idiots would pick Arizona to make the Final Four? That would just be stupid. I don't know who on earth would do that. That's just a terrible decision. Whoever filled out their bracket, whoever would make that
Whoever
pick,
would do that.
I don't know. I mean, whoever would put out their Final Four pick at 4-1 for them to make it out of the region, that would just be a dumb thing to do.
Yeah. I might be that hard time by not knowing college basketball at the beginning. By the way, our guy Pete Sweeney has already texted the three of us the picture of Nick pass out at his place. It says not pictured whiskey and sugar on the ground because you dropped your. But also, I just realized I'm over now. Why not a little? Why do you sound so groggy?
No, you know what it is?
He's a little tired.
No, you know what it is?
Late night
It's
hoops?
when I screamed really loud, and it was like one of those guttural screams where like your vocal cords start to vibrate. It hurt really bad afterwards, and that's why.
So you're saying the way you one time during the Furman game has made you sound this way?
Yes. Yes.
Huh.
It's a very.
I mean, we all did scream as they hit the shot.
But you sound normal. And I sound normal.
Did you pull the audio that moment on Cody and Gold yesterday?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to investigate later. Because hearing your sound might make me, decide whether I'm going to believe you.
I mean, I probably believe him. I thought he was just up late, busy doing a lot of stuff. I think he's a little worn out. That's what I think it is.
Wearing himself out, huh? Okay. The Princeton game, as you pointed out, that obviously was the biggest upset. It wasn't near as good as the Furman one, but I know that we yesterday we did and we will for K-State here in a minute, what makes a good tournament. And I think in the end of the day, someone's still going to be like, hey, they won an NCAA tournament game, Missouri got the win.
Yeah.
But now you don't get to excuse make for why you're not in the Sweet 16. You get the 15 seed.
Wait, have you adjusted it? You're saying now it's a
good tournament has to be the
Whoa.
Sweet 16. You're getting the 15. Understand they're capable of beating Arizona, which means they're technically capable of beating you. I'm not here to argue that. I understand how this works. I understand that all these teams can beat you in a moment, but you got far less talented team in a round of 32. Missouri hadn't won a tournament game in over a decade. And now, the Sweet 16 by just beating Princeton? No excuses. None at all to beat this team and go to the Sweet 16.
So I'll be curious to hear from Missouri fans on this, but I would say, yes, it's a golden opportunity for the Missouri Tigers that the bracket has opened up. The sea has parted, if you will, to get to a Sweet 16 that you're not going to play Arizona, who is, of course, wanted in Princeton. But on one given day, yesterday, Princeton was able to be the better team and get the win. And you'd much rather play Princeton than Arizona. Nobody's arguing that. And yes, it sets up a much easier path for Missouri. But we just yesterday said a successful season for Missouri was a win. Yeah, now is it going to be disappointing? Are you going to say, man, you dropped the ball?
And lose to another 15 seed? They don't need that on their
blew the opportunity. It's not a failure unless they get destroyed at Princeton or something. No, yes, it's going to be like, man, what an opportunity that you had and you couldn't take advantage of it. But no, that to me is not fair necessarily to all of a sudden say that Missouri to lose to Princeton is a failure just because it's the 15th. You just said it yourself. They just beat Arizona. These type of runs had in the NCAA tournament at time. So no, Missouri, should they win that game? Are they favorites, 6.5 point favorites over Princeton? Is that the expectation that they're going to go to a Sweet 16 now? Sure, and it'll be very disappointing if you're a Tigers fan if they don't now, because expectation in terms of their own fan base has changed. But it doesn't mean it's Dennis Gates and the Missouri Tigers have failed if they don't get to a Sweet 16. I don't think that's fair at all.
I think you're allowed to adjust the expectations of the tournament depending on the team that you are facing. And look, they only have, 6 or 7 Sweet 16 appearances in their entire
Even more reason to not view it as
History?
a failure if they don't get there.
I know, but now but in those other times, maybe it wasn't always a gift.
I think you're just saying that it's like, man, it's so to be there, right? Like it's so good to be in that spot that you got to take advantage of this because it's such a good opportunity. That's different than saying that it's this failure if they don't do that. You and I think we're both on the same page of like, this is this great opportunity. Go take advantage of it.
I've made a Sweet 16 since 2009.
Yeah.
Made 2 in the last 30 years, 20 years. I mean, it's just like, when you look at the history, I understand why you'd be like, because if it was Kansas, you'd be like, you lose to a 15 seed, you don't make the Sweet 16. That is a massive disappointment. If they didn't get to this, the Elite 8 to begin with, right? So we were already putting a little bit of those numbers on them and where they needed to be. And I understand that Missouri doesn't have the rich history, and some other teams do, but they have been consistently an NCAA tournament team. They have had some thing all of a sudden now get to the Final Four. And honestly, I don't think
I guess that's my question to you is let's say they beat Princeton because you're adjusting and saying it'd be a failure if they don't beat Princeton. The next opponent would potentially be let's say there's a massive upset,
lower seed,
a massive upset again. At that point, are you going to say it's going to be a failure if they don't get to an Elite 8? Is that how this works?
I think specifically
I think that's we're just adjust. You're right. Expectations can adjust in season heading into a tournament, and you can say, hey man, these opportunities are getting greater because of the way that the matchups are setting up. But I don't think that's fair at all to Missouri to all of a sudden act as though it'd be a failure if they don't win against Princeton.
The 2 lower seeds they could face, if they get past Princeton, are UC Santa Barbara and NC State. Those are the low seeds they could face.
So if UC Santa Barbara knocked off Baylor today and then
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I think when you get to the Sweet 16, I probably start adjusting that. There's a line.
Okay.
Sweet 16, Elite 8. Like, once you start getting to those levels, it's just, hey, you know that there's a massive opportunity, and you can't necessarily call it because someone might be that year's George Mason and find their way through the tournament, and they're going to get you too. Because I always go back to that Kansas game. Like, Davidson almost got him. Almost got him that year. Steph Curry was just doing magical things. They weren't just on. They were that kind of team, and they had that kind of player, and they were going to make it challenging for anybody. And if Kansas lost to that, how could I call it a disappointment? Davidson was just on one of those kinds of runs. But I don't know. I didn't feel that way about watching Princeton. I didn't feel like they were on one of those runs. You're better than them. You're way more talented than them.
Well, so was Arizona.
Oh, I know.
Don't let
it happen twice. There's no reason to sleep on them now.
I expect Missouri to win. Missouri to win tomorrow as well. But unless they got destroyed by Princeton, I don't think it'd be fair to say it's a failure on Missouri. So they didn't get past Princeton or anything like that. We mentioned St. Patrick's Day, obviously, and we also mentioned Rob Collins on the 1 o'clock hour. And we need some help. Nick's a little busy days. We need some interns. Today's it. Today's the last day for you to apply, be an intern at this station and on this show.
Just go to the Odyssey job page for Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You'll see part-time promotional assistant. That is a job to apply for to be the intern for this show. It is a paid position, as we have previously established.
Massive amount of money.
We will be going through the applications next week. I am told between the people who have directly emailed Steven Spector and have applied through that link, we are looking at double-digit applications. So we're going to really narrow the field here, guys. And then, interviews, and we'll figure it out from there. But this is, your final day to apply to be an intern or summer intern for the. So if you have any interest in working with us on a regular, this is your chance. I'm not saying you won't work with the others because we're told specifically just hoard all the interns. But the other shows not shown near the interest in interns that we have. That's tough to say.
They haven't shown any interest in interns.
Yeah, so should be working with us.
Yes. You will report directly to us. We will decide your fate.
Who's going to handle the grading on this? Because if it's for school, if they're for us, one of us is going to be responsible for getting these interns a grade.
It's a paid internship, so really the credit part doesn't even come into play.
It's both. I should still have a grade.
But not everybody. I don't know if everybody.
We don't care.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to take it for college. But I'm saying if you do want college credit, then we have a conversation about who's going to grade them. Which of the three, or is this a universal? We all give one grade and then we take the average?
I'm going to go ahead. That will be us, Steven Spector.
You think he wants that responsibility?
I'm pretty sure that's who has to do it.
No, I don't know if that's the case. Like for company policy or for school, don't care. We just have to name an intern coordinator. That's Nick. Nick, congratulations, you've been promoted. You are Sports Radio's intern coordinator. How's that feel?
People are asking how much money are we talking? Again, tons of money. And you're going to make tons of money.
Do you guys want to hear
You're going to be gaining a lot of life experience.
Do you guys want to hear the audio from yesterday's show?
Yes. Please.
A lot. It's better than I realized.
Okay.
It's better than I realized.
Let's hear it. Furman Virginia game, final seconds of the game yesterday. Oh, Furman just got the steal.
Go,
Furman
hit it.
Where you're going out?
Yeah, you hear like the
Did it rattle a little?
Yeah. It's rough.
That part right there was where you screwed over your voice for a couple days.
No, I feel fine now. It just, the sound. I sound a little more.
You sound hungover.
You sound
That's fine. I'm not hungover.
nasally.
I feel great. I feel great physically.
Well, yeah, you feel great physically.
Had an apple this morning.
Which almost made you feel like you're drinking coffee, right?
Yeah. I had some 213 flashpoint, guys. I start every day.
Are you
with it.
flashing?
I'm flashing today.
Nick has been flashing all week. It's it's throwing me off.
He has been eating less junk food. I'm not even being
I
sarcastic.
haven't been eating any
dead
junk.
serious.
I haven't been eating any junk food.
I haven't seen any chips. I haven't seen any.
Honest with you right now, I'll just go ahead and get this out there so that doesn't, cast a cloud over the rest of the show. I'm not going to have any of your key lime pie today.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm not going to have any.
Why?
I bet you Rob Collins won't have any either. Two guys who take the exact same amount of care and are in the exact same shape.
So I made an entire show just so Alex can have a small piece?
Well, you did, though, but that's exactly why you made it, because he's
You can have a piece.
No.
As a matter of fact,
No, I won't. If you bring it in here, I will throw it in the trash can. I will throw it directly into the trash can.
But he's in the bullpen area, someone else.
Actually, you know what? No, I'll smash it in your face if you bring it in here.
I will force it
please
down
do
your
that.
throat if you don't do that.
No.
You will eat that pie.
Wow. That drop will be utilized quite a bit, I think, going forward.
You're going to eat some of that pie. It can be a small piece, but you're eating some of it.
You can't make me.
Can't. I'm going to.
And by the way, when you sign up to be an intern at 610 Sports Radio, this is the kind of treatment you can expect to receive.
I'm going to force you to do things you don't want to do.
In your mouth and down your throat.
Last day.
He has no shame.
Last day to apply. So, those intern candidates.
All right, coming up next, let's get into some Chiefs football a little bit. We had Juwan Taylor on the show yesterday. He also just spoke to the media at large and talked about one thing he's willing to do, which is quite a bit different from where things were at with Orlando Brown Jr. We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, and asphalt and concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Waving in the Week podcast every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
Do you feel uneasy, irritable? Does your home internet bill give you anxiety or cause you to make angry noises? You may be suffering from a serious condition known as UPH, unexpected price hikes.
It could happen to anyone, even you. You could get stuck paying more than you expected.
But now there's a solution to put an end to your suffering. T-Mobile 5G home internet is just $50 a month, and it comes with T-Mobile's price lock guarantee. That means they won't raise your home internet rate ever.
Side effects include feelings of joy when you receive your bill, no annual contracts, and no monthly fees.
Try T-Mobile home internet for just $50 a month with autopay. Plus, get price lock guarantee and put an end to the fear of unexpected price hikes today.
They won't raise my internet rates? Thanks, T-Mobile.
Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Price lock exclusions like taxes, fees, select promos, and third parties supply. Qualifying credit and service required. Regulatory fees included. A $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay.
You remember the road trip took together, the music you listened to, the laughter you shared. Visit Champney for a gift as special as your memory. Beautifully designed jewelry crafted with attention to every detail. With the largest selection of styles and a range of prices, it'll be easy to find a meaningful gift for someone special in your life. A ring is always a beloved gift. Choose a stylish band, a signet ring, or a 3-stone anniversary ring. To celebrate a year together, or a lifetime of love, give a gift with diamonds. Diamond stud earrings. We offer both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Jewelry featuring a colorful gemstone makes a wonderful gift because it's so personal. Every stone has unique properties and its own symbolic meaning. Shane Company sources the most beautiful gemstones from around the world, so you have the best selection to choose from. Sapphires in over a dozen opals, rubies, and more. When you give your gift, it'll be another special moment to remember.
I have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous debt relief. Credited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief hotline now. Call 800-585-8282. 800-585-8282. That's 800-585-8282.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, Zipper has mastered finding a needle in a haystack. So take it to the next level. Hiring so simple that it's like a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needle. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are great, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Wow, someone. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money into your wallet with free app from Upside. With price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card. Upsiders have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code GOLF. Use code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You just bought a home in the suburbs, but no one told all the birds, specifically this one, who seems to be calling out Roy. Roy. But who exactly is Roy? And why doesn't he ever respond? Maybe Roy is just bird speak for save with Progressive by bundling auto. I guess until Roy answers, we'll never know. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Kevin Matt talks with Matt Hardy.
There's nothing like a wrestling fan, for better or for worse. How do you handle that, though? We're talking about people talking about your family, what they don't know about your family or your brother or you. How does one handle that from a day-to-day basis?
Something I joke about with the Young Bucks all the time. I said, if you would vanity search Matt Hardy on Twitter, I said, after you got through 100 replies, you're going to quit the business and never be seen again. It's just, you just learn to deal with it. You know what I mean?
It's the Kick Rocks Wrestling Podcast with Evan T. Mack. Subscribe now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onderlaw Injury Lawyers. Visit com.
Andy Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
At Andy, get the job done right the first time. While you know us as the technicians you can trust with keys. It's the final free PATE.com.
Coverage of opening day is brought to you by KCKPD. Activations for new and experienced law enforcement officers. KCKPD.org for more information. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, just getting started here on a Friday. NCAA Tournament, about 45 minutes away from getting underway here in day number 2. Talk a little more Kansas State a little bit. Their game against Montana State, and much how we were discussing Missouri and Kansas the last couple days. What is successful for K-State? We'll get to that in just a bit. Yesterday we had Juwan Taylor on the show. It was good to catch up with the new Chiefs tackle. The old Chiefs left tackle Brown Jr. now just because of his signing out there today. Jonah Williams was tackle for Cincinnati. Now realize that's my money. They're giving it to that guy that they picked up. They're probably not going to pay me very soon. So I'm going to go ahead and request a trade. So now they got that drama because of the Leonard Brown on your side. Cincinnati has to deal with a guy that wants to be traded, and they can deal with that offseason drama, which is perfectly fine by everybody here, I'm sure, in Kansas City. Because Jonah Williams is only 25 years old. Maybe Chicago will trade for him, but they're in a spot where they got their luck on Leonard Brown Jr., and now they might have to be trading a guy that they tackle them.
Or Leonard Brown Jr. Now you're not the only player who wants to play left tackle. The problem is in Jonah Williams' case, that's all he's ever done. Gold. He was a left tackle in college. He's been a left tackle in the pros. He's been a left tackle for a team that's been competing for. And look, there are plenty of people like Orlando Brown Jr., right? Nobody ever likes the guy who struggles occasionally. So there's plenty of people in Cincinnati who are like, good riddance. Let's get rid of him. But finding starter quality left tackle play, as we've discussed so many times on this show, is not easy to do, and he's on his 5th-year option. Do you think you'd want to move tackle in the final year of your 5-year rookie deal? Goal going to get paid? Hell no. Maybe request trade too. Honestly, they had to see this coming, I assume. Right?
Yeah, I bet you they're not caught off guard. They knew this wouldn't probably please him all that much.
I think and here's the thing, like the more I listen to, the Juwan Taylor was on the show, and then I listened back to his press conference when he joined other members of the media, and easily the biggest upside to all this is they found a guy who doesn't care. And not that he shouldn't necessarily, because Juwan Taylor already got paid. They're saying, hey, man, you got $20 million a year for you, Juwan. Do you care when you play? You're like, you're going to pay me the same, right? Yeah, I don't care. You gave me my money. I got paid. And if you're telling me I got to go to the left or right side, my ego's not too big. Sounds good to me. I'm glad because that leaves the door open possibilities over the next couple of years of trying to improve your left tackle play. And if you ever do find the right guy in the draft, you decide to go back to targeting guys like Laramie Tunsil in draft situations, then you can have a top 5 left or right tackle play to go with the left tackle play that is really improved. You actually kind of need a couple of guys like this with a little more willingness to flexibility. I'm not saying I blame Orlando Jr. Jonah Williams for not having it. I think that might be one of the biggest selling points for Juwan Taylor.
I think more often than not, though, it's probably handled the way Juwan Taylor is doing it, right? I mean, if you go positionally, if you play a certain position most of your career, I would say 95% of the guys are position and expect to be compensated for that particular position.
Which is what his case was in right tackle.
Yeah, and so like, if you're Juwan Taylor, you had never played any left tackle, and it was time to get a new contract. And so then it says, oh, by the way, we'll top tier right tackle money, but we also want you to maybe play left tackle. Oh, and you're only 25, 26, so that means your contract's done. If you're actually left tackle, you pay today. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. It's a lot easier when you're asking a player to go in that order. It was much more challenging when the reporters, some teams viewed Orlando Jr. as a right tackle.
It's hard because he was right tackle for as much time as he's been a left tackle in his NFL career. Actually, been a right tackle a hair more.
But once you're left tackle, it's easy for someone to say, or teams, hey, we think you could be a left tackle because there's more money there. It's viewed as a more prestigious position, if you will. it's way different if you're asking someone that's been a left tackle to then go take a pay cut and go play right tackle.
I think it is kind of like we see this in wide receivers a lot. I've been a number one wide receiver this entire time. And all of a sudden, like, hey, we want to pay you and use you like a 2. It's not that, you're going to be on the field, we're going to throw at you, but you're just not going to be 160 target guy anymore. And we see sometimes those guys have a hard time transitioning down from that number. But it'd have been easy enough for Jawan Taylor to be like, hey, we want, because they're having those conversations before. They're like, we're going to put you at left tackle. So we're just letting you know now.
Do you think other teams were planning on this? I'm interested in it. He's right. He talked as we had him. Part of the plan in those conversations already was, hey, here's what we think you do for us, left tackle. Okay. Were they competing with anybody else?
For left tackle?
Yeah, that's what I don't think.
One other team right now who's doing what the Chiefs are doing was consistently take right tackles and make them left.
Well, people copy off each other all the time, so it wouldn't
Yeah, but in this
surprise me,
case, that hasn't happened yet.
Right, but like people copy the forefront of most things these days, and somebody copy them. But so I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they much competition, which would make it interesting on, was there competition for him to make this type of money as a right tackle from anybody else? And I'm guessing no. So I'm not saying the Chiefs overpaid, but I also think that was part of the competition where I don't think there were other teams that were planning on left tackle. Therefore, I don't know if he actually had that kind of money on the table with other teams.
I'm not sure that he did either, but why not protect? Because you want him here, overpaying a little bit, knowing you're going to pay him a tackle makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Like, I mean, that to me is where you take that benefit. You don't want him walking somewhere else, because the other question the Chiefs could ask, how many different free agent right tackles do they all think would be quality left tackles? Like, let's take Mike McGlinchey, for instance. He's probably not the athlete. So they were never thinking, what if we give Mike McGlinchey all this money and make him a left tackle? Because that wasn't the player they wanted to make a left tackle. That guy was probably Jawan Taylor. He was probably the only right tackle that was available to them that they thought could make the transition to left tackle without getting a major drop-off in their play. So their play was really always Orlando Brown Jr. They tried to sign him last offseason. They reportedly were trying to kind of contract this offseason, and they very simply could not come to the number, and they weren't going to wait around for Orlando Brown Jr. to eventually agree to their ideas there. Because here's the other thing. Jawan Taylor also agreed that if it doesn't go well at left tackle, he'll go to right. And I know that that's for this year. Jawan Taylor's probably going to be, he's probably locked in. Orlando Brown Jr., if he had signed, he'd have been the left tackle the entire year. But they would have always been looking to improve that position. With Taylor in this case, you don't know that he can improve it. Because if he's their left tackle this year, Cold, and they get top 6 or 7 left tackle play all of a sudden, like they get lucky, right? Not lucky, but they do well in their scouting, and they get top 6 or 7 left tackle play. They're not going to be looking for a new left tackle. Jawan Taylor going to be their guy for several years.
And the situation the Chiefs have put themselves in, though, is it still gives them, as you're pointing out, the flexibility, right? That's what it is. They have shown time and time again they want to have that flexibility with signings. They're not going to put themselves contract-wise also to we're backed into a corner. We've seen that happen time and time. Yeah, we're talking about the position flexibility, but also I think contract flexibility. You look at the way the Jawan Taylor contract is structured. If things were worst-case scenario, hey, yes, Cody, they could move him to right tackle, but even financially, if there was some injury or whatever, it's not a deal where, hey, after 2 years they couldn't be in a spot to where it would hamstring them or anything like that. That wouldn't happen based on the way they structured this deal. And also, that's, by the way, the way the Cincinnati deal is set up too for Orlando Brown Jr. It's actually like we can talk all we want about Cincinnati now having drama with Jonah Williams, but the contract they gave Orlando Brown Jr. is actually really good for Cincinnati. It's actually a really good contract for them, based off of after 2 years they could eject on the Orlando Brown Jr. deal as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cincinnati should have set up a safeguard for that. Because you know why? They didn't want Jonah Williams to be their left tackle. They're running into the same problem. They think that they can improve on Jonah Williams' play with Orlando Brown Jr. with a slight uptick in value. And now they're not going to pay Jonah Williams. I think they thought maybe they could get one more year of him at right tackle at the price tag he wants. And maybe they can just say, we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, someone on the text line 913-586-7610 said, why did the Bengals sign Orlando Brown? I don't understand it. That's an offensive line that struggled the last couple of years in Cincinnati. It's an offensive line that got dominated by the Chiefs in the AFC title game. And in their mind, it's an upgrade of left tackle. And by the way, for them, it might be this. I don't want to repeat it like for the 100th time, but this goes back to, I think, Orlando Brown Jr., because In Kansas City, the dollar amount is outrageous, and the Chiefs didn't want to spend that kind of money on Orlando Brown Jr. He's not a terrible left tackle. We got to just stop saying that. I know he's not in Kansas City, and so you just want to believe that he's terrible now.
I assume there's someone in Cincinnati saying that about Jonah Williams, too.
Yeah, like this happens all the time. But like Orlando Brown Jr. was still towards the top end of left tackles. Not top 5, not top 3, top 10, 11, 12. So that's why they were interested, Cody. That's why they were interested. They needed an upgrade. He was best left tackles on the market. Because again, I'll still go back to this. If Orlando Brown Jr. had never been on the Chiefs, and he was a free agent, and he had never been on the Chiefs before,
you've been asking him to come here.
A lot of people in Kansas City would have been like, "Oh, there's this guy named Orlando Brown Jr. that's on the open market, Cody. He might be really for Kansas City."
Do you know how I know that? Because people were excited when he came here.
Exactly. So that's why, like, it's a little bit of
we actually don't even have to
revisionist history for people. All of a sudden, I don't get why any team would be interested in Orlando Brown Jr. He's a pretty damn good football player still. Yeah, sure.
I'll admit, look, Pro Football Focus is not the end-all, be-all, but Orlando Brown Jr., from their metric, rates out significantly than Joe Williams. And when your quarterbacks get killed pretty regularly, they're going to be easily doing this. Also, they thought that they were strengthening both sides. By giving Orlando Brown Jr. left tackle, they're like, all right, get our left tackle. They're not saying worlds better. They're not saying it's the difference between a guy who shouldn't be playing the position and having Trent Williams at left tackle. They got better. And then they also thought, Gold, they'd be getting better at right tackle because they thought their plan would be to move Jonah Williams over to right tackle. Their plan had always been to flip Williams to right tackle because they had signed Lael Collins, I think, too, but he's coming off some major injury, as always. And so they had a plan that made their offensive line better, probably similar to what happened in Kansas City. If you were Cincinnati, wouldn't you be looking at yourself the same way Kansas City was out of that Super Bowl? Which is, you got your ass kicked so bad for 2 consecutive seasons. I understand that they got to the Super Bowl that previous year. Just as a quick reminder, Joe Burrow was getting sacked like 19 times a game in that postseason run. They were just able to overcome it. And then guess what? In the Super Bowl against the Rams, they weren't. And then they got to another postseason where they got to an AFC title game and they got a chance to face the Chiefs for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And their offensive line did not hold up. It got destroyed. They'd be looking at themselves the same way the Chiefs were after the Bucs thing. They're trying to be better on the offensive line.
We'll get to K-State in a second, but just like ready. Yeah, well, it's the same situation. Either A, they thought Orlando Brown Jr. was better than Jonah Williams, remains to be seen, or same thing with Kansas City. They didn't want to pay what it's going to cost to keep Jonah Williams. It's the same. I mean, this is
at the level of play that they thought they were.
It's no different. That's why they went to Orlando Brown Jr. It's one of the two. They either think he's going to be better, or they think that contract's going to actually be more feasible for them. Let's get to some basketball though with Kansas State, who's in action tonight against Montana State. Any reason? We've seen a couple threes or 1 3 go down, and now people are on 3-14 watch basically with Furman's win.
Someone was last night, so I'm sure that that's part of it. I mean, I'd say there's always a little bit of concern anywhere you get from that 3-14 line down, 3-14, 12-5, all those, those start to, or 4-13, those start to concern you a little bit. But, I mean, I look at this the same way we had the conversations yesterday with Kansas and Missouri. What constitutes a good tournament for Case 3 seed when you were one of the best teams in the toughest basketball conference in college basketball this year? You have to make a Sweet 16 for me to say that this was a successful tournament. Same thing applies as Missouri a little bit, though, because of their change, and they had just gotten stuck in neutral. I feel like maybe you can just be like, this is a successful season no matter what. But if we're breaking it down just as a tournament, right? If you're a 3 seed or better, it's Sweet 16 or better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a successful tournament.
Yeah, it's Sweet 16 for K-State. It's get out of the opening weekend. It's win your first 2 games of the tournament. And then it's house money at that point. Now, beginning of the season, making the tournament would have been your idea of successful. Expectations change in the regular season. I don't think it's fair to adjust the expectation once the tournament starts, which is what we were discussing with Missouri, just because you get an easier. But for K-State, going into this tournament, Sweet 16, to me, is the expectation and viewed as successful. And then, hey, if they get past the Sweet 16, it's absolutely house money. So if we were breaking down for the 3, you and I are actually with different logic in terms of Mizzou, But overall, heading into the tournament, I think you and I were on the same page in terms of what viewed as successful for each of the locals. You and I said Elite Eight for Kansas. I understand the Bills.
Good Final Four because when you're a number one seed in Kansas, your whole line gets bumped up talent-wise.
For Missouri, it was win a tournament game. You've adjusted it to Sweet 16. I think there's an opportunity for that, but I don't think it's a failure if they lose on Saturday. And then for K-State, they believe that they need to make it to Sweet 16. Beat Montana State tonight. And then potentially you could have a really tough matchup against Kentucky or Providence. A lot of people think maybe Providence could give Kentucky a run for their money, but we'll see what the Wildcats or Wildcat matchup on Sunday.
A lot of the thing we've talked about when we were talking about the tournament, Kansas State is not bad at anything. Like they're not like a horrid defensive team or a horrid offensive team. They do those things well, and I feel like when you're balanced, you're much like round game. Like I know that I'm saying, hey, good at past the Sweet 16, and when you're looking at a team with Kentucky's history in the second round, I'm trying to look at it from a seed perspective. What is a reasonable ask out of Kansas State? And I feel like it's a reasonable ask to say that they're able to get Sweet 16.
Yeah, the other thing for K-State tonight is like it sounds easy, but just don't. It sounds simple. Don't turn the ball over. K-State's had a tendency to turn the ball over a lot. That would be the only thing tonight. Like if you're asking for what would make it interesting against Montana State, like if K-State's turning the ball over left and right. But also at the same time, would it surprise you if Kansas State gets just hot from 3-point range tonight and just destroys Montana State?
No, I feel like they're the much better team, and they have the size advantage down low. It's not even just about shooting threes and to get that. They have a decided court advantage against Montana State. It feels like they should be the easy winner.
Gotta write something down.
Nick's Noble Notes.
Okay, guys. First things first here. Before I get to the meat and potatoes of today's notes. We're making any bets this morning, even on the side? I know we've kind of we've thrown away the idea of doing a show bet. It didn't go well yesterday.
Michigan State and USC.
I've got USC plus 2.5
because we want instant gratification and results. First half bet again. This time it's the under 62.5. You're
gonna keep betting those unders.
So I am going to go against you, Cody.
You were on the over yesterday.
I'm taking Michigan State.
I'm taking Michigan State all day.
Minus 2.5, or did you get a minus 1.5?
I got a minus 1.5.
Cody. Yesterday the issue was the over. If we would have had the under in the West Virginia game, we would find. So under first half and
very choked up again about this.
And Michigan State first half.
I also have
unders. Baylor minus 6.5. I have Baylor minus 6.5 in the first half as well. If we're just tracking for each other, who's going to try to win what here? I still think we should make one. Like, hey, let's not make a show bet, but let's all get on a bet together so that if it happens in the first game, that we can be excited.
Well,
like
sounds like we're not in agreement on any of the.
Yeah,
Nick
so
and
how about a player point total?
That's not as.
Tell you what, let me look here. Let me check my formula. Let me run this one more time.
I could take USC in the.
You know what?
Take Michigan State in the first half.
I will hop on the first half under with you, Gold.
Okay. Now, what number? The number of the lines moved a little bit.
The USC Michigan State.
For the first half under.
Yes.
I'm seeing it at 136.5 right now.
First half. First half, sir.
62.5.
That's what I'm saying.
Half under. Okay.
We're all in that together. I'll get in.
Let's do it.
Okay. Wow. And there we go.
And if you're listening, you can fade or follow. You decide.
But only if you follow.
Yeah, I only like people to follow me personally.
Yeah, same. Because
I'm not a betting expert.
If you fade us, you're dead to me. I'm just going to be straight up.
What do you think we're going to go 0 for 4 is the show? God, it's not even plausible.
You know how this works, though. If you follow us, we won't hear from anybody. If you then you will text us, right?
Let's all put this together. Under 60.5 first half USC at Michigan State.
All right, guys, let's get to it. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Where I unveil my first ever round 1 mock draft.
Can't wait.
All right, I'm gonna go through every single pick, all 31.
Yeah, please do.
We got time for that?
Yeah, plenty of time. I'll turn my mic off. Go for it.
All right, actually, I'm just gonna fast forward to the Chiefs selection at pick number 31. Now,
did you actually do? How do we know you actually did a whole mock draft if you're just giving us 31?
I did
the first 5.
Okay, number 1. Hold on, let me pull it up. You guys are gonna make me do it.
You don't have it, do you?
No, I do.
Don't have it, do
number
you?
1, I have C. Stroud going to the Panthers. Number 2, I have Bryce Young.
Okay.
Going to the Texans. Number 3, I have Will Anderson going to the Cardinals. At number 4, I have Anthony Richardson And at number 5, I have Tyree Wilson going to the Seahawks.
Okay, and the Chiefs selection is at pick 31. You're going to say Dalton Kincaid.
Wide receiver out of North Carolina, Josh Downs. Wide receiver out of North Carolina.
This year, wasn't he? This past year?
Yeah, he's been super productive for 2 seasons. He's undersized, but
he doesn't care about that.
Yeah, he gets open. He is incredibly shifty, incredibly explosive. That's what Andy wants, guys who get open. He fits the prototype for the type of wide receiver that Andy goes after. And the thing is, he plays bigger than 5'9". Like, he's really good at going up and getting contested catches. He was good in the red zone. That's the type of stuff that I feel like he is exactly the type of receiver. He's the type of receiver that Chiefs fans will hate, but he's exactly the type of guy that Andy Reid targets.
Can I ask you, and I'll bring this up because you'll love this comparison, do the Chiefs not already have 2 guys that are him already?
Who are the 2 guys that are
Sky
him?
Moore and Kadarius Toney.
I think more makes sense, but like they don't. It's not like you have one who goes across the middle, gets open, good route runner, and then that's all you want.
I only ask based off of the skill set, but also, no joke, the exact comparison that Lance Zierlein at NFL Network has is Kadarius Toney. So that's the exact NFL comp he gets.
Can't have too many Kadarius Toney. You like Tony Gold. Why wouldn't you want more of them?
No, that's like McCormick not needing to come. I don't need 3 of the same player.
They go after, like, and first off, this wide receiver class is full of those guys. They're never going to go after the big dude who doesn't separate and just gets contested catches. So, like, the idea that Andy Reid wants one of this guy, one of this guy, one of this guy, that's just never been the way that he's operated.
But I don't need 3 of the same guy either.
Then what type of receiver do you want?
I'm just telling you.
Because I'm telling you this right now. That's who, like, Jackson Smith of Josh Downs. He's a little bigger, but he does the same thing.
You said it there.
A slot receiver.
It's a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. They just lost
Juju
Smith-Schuster.
They're not going to employ him in a different way than they do a guy like Josh Downs.
I don't want just a bunch of short dudes in my wide receiver class.
Okay, so that's what this is.
I mean, that's what they were the year before with Tyreek, though.
Yeah, but
and it seemed like it was fine.
Do you think there's a Tyreek Hill in this draft?
Just saying, like, I don't think size always dictates the type of player.
You don't think size matters, is what you're saying?
I don't think size matters. I think it's all about confidence.
And how they move, you know?
Jeez.
Damn it, Cody.
I mean, he was the one earlier forcing people to do things.
Well, I'm serious. I think that when you're looking
hopped up on Blue Chew there,
it depends on
just chew do it. You know? What, you're taking Blue Chew during Club 610? That's
Can we all
awkward.
get some? Let's all take one.
That's going to be really awkward for Cody.
Dude, let's all take one. Let's get weird.
Let's get really weird. In the 1 o'clock hour. I think that it just depends on what type. You're right. If 500-yard guy that they want to run into rounds with, not super interested. But sometimes those guys, even though they're undersized, end up being like possession guys. I don't know. Just depends on which version they're getting. I know what Sky and McCole are, and I guess to this point a little bit what Tony is. So just depends. I don't hate it. I'm surprised. I'm shocked you, Dalton Kincaid.
Well,
I don't think talk about the guy for a week.
I don't think he'll be there.
You're thinking he's going to be drafted.
Same thing with Jay. Love Jackson Smith and Jay, but you're not getting him at 31. So you have to be realistic with picking at the end of the draft. The elite players, the guys who have prototypical size or speed, they all go early. That's the reason why they have.
This is why I know you don't factor that in the mocks. I get that.
Oh, I mean, I'd be all for it if the Chiefs decide they're in love with one of them at 15 or 17.
I appreciate the mock that doesn't have the trade up either. Thank you for that, because it drives me crazy when people do mocks and they like do a trade. They're like, oh no, I traded up just so I can go and get my guy. Wait a second, we can all do that.
Well, I don't know what the compensation would be for a trade up.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I laugh at the ones that have. I'm like,
use the chart.
If that's the case, then I'll do a mock too, and I'll just trade up to 15 every single time.
Oh, I also traded for DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Tunsil.
Yeah.
Team. There we go. Oh, yeah, and in this scenario, DeAndre Hopkins doesn't want a new contract.
He actually wants
and Larry Tunsil wants to win so bad to dismiss.
Everybody says we're going to make the same amount of we're a team. Everybody's going to make the same amount of money on the team next year.
Hopkins does want a new contract, but he wants you to rip and pay him vet minimum. You know?
I want to prove to everyone I'm in it for the love of the game.
I've made enough money.
Those are Nick's notable notes, and those are, and that is Nick's first mock draft. Sorry, Bink, I'm going to text you again. I can't believe that Nick beats you, Bink, to your first mock draft. Man. Nick 1.0 is out before Bink 1.0. I never thought I would ever see a day where that actually happened. But coming up next, it's the 11 o'clock hour, and the QB talent on one side of the NFL is clear. What does that do for the dynasty chance? There's
Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at nnasphalt.com. Don't miss the Red Half Hour every day at 11:30. Your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filippone here. Parlay of the day brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NCAA Tournament for afternoon. I like NC State to not only cover but beat Creighton outright. If you believe guards win in March, the Wolfpack is your kind of team. Purdue. Fairleigh Dickinson players said after the play-in that they watched Purdue and believe they can beat them. Good luck. FU didn't even win its conference tournament. My lock of the day is Arizona State 8.5 versus TCU. A team that plays in Dayton always wins at least one game in the bracket, and TCU's best big man entered transfer portal last week. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today. A moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus in President, Kansas. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
If you like hunting and fish, Outdoor America with Tommy Bench is your destination. Great guests, hunting and fishing tips, Saturday at 5 a.m. on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app. Listen on demand at 610sports.com, weekend programming channel. Presented by Wholesale Battery.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Sam Lee. The traffic is crazy. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now. Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app? Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas. What? That sounds like it could really add up. I've made around $200 already. Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN40 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ARN40. For a 5 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code EARN40 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Let's be honest, a jewelry store is not where most guys want to be. Guys like Paul Goodall.
First-time diamond buyers, most of us are engagement ring buyers. We have no idea whatsoever we're walking into, and we push it off, and we push it off, and we push it off.
But like so many other men, Paul was pleasantly surprised when he walked into Diamonds Direct.
When you go in, you don't have to have a big background in gemology. They don't look down the end of their nose at you as you would find in some other places and make you uncomfortable because you're not an expert in diamonds.
Time he left, Paul was an expert in diamonds. But Diamonds Direct took the time to educate him, show him the inside secrets of the industry, and give him the tools to make a smart decision.
They do a really, really good job of laying out the information for you and not pressing you.
Diamonds Direct, a guy-friendly jewelry store where you're always treated with respect.
The great thing about Diamonds Direct is they alleviate that stress.
So relax, guys. It's Diamonds Direct. We've got your back. Get directions and store hours now at diamondsdirect.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-585-8282. 800-585-8282.
That's 800-585-8282.
Integrity, engagement, safety, and transparency. Not just words, but a way of life at the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. The KCKPD is currently accepting applications for both new and experienced law enforcement officers. Starting yearly pay is over $50,000 a year with opportunity for more. Civilian personal jobs are available in records and dispatch. For more info, email recruiter@kckpd.org. That's kckpd.org. Join the KCKPD team, an equal opportunity employer. Start your Amazon business.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
In 2020, Americans made $50 billion selling on Amazon. Join America's Amazon expert, Dylan Frost, where anyone can learn how to start an Amazon business for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. 2-hour seminar Tuesday, March 28th at 2 p.m. for the greater Kansas City area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
US 69 Express Constructors is hiring for all positions. Stop by Doubletree in Overland Park on Thursday, March 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. for an on-site interview and start earning competitive wages and benefits immediately. We'll see you there.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket, just like our customer Christine.
I'm a director and a performer. I got a free phone from Cricket and I've used it to live stream 73 of my shows on social media.
How do you like it?
It's fabulous!
Switch to Cricket and get a free Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Real customer paid for testimonial, limited time. Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Phone streams video and SD. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Dome's Hot Stove every Thursday night live from spring training starting at 6 o'clock. Your home for Royals baseball, 610 Sports Radio. KCSB Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty in Odyssey Station.
All right, about 10 minutes away from the first game of the day, getting underway. That's Michigan State, Tom Izzo. It's March. Who knows what kind of run they could go on. They're going to take on USC. We got a couple bets locked in. We'll keep an eye on that. Also, around 11:45, Xavier and Kennesaw State. So the first two games of the day. And then Baylor and UC Santa Barbara. That's one that people have their eyes on. If you're talking about like trendy upset picks, that's a one. I'm not saying I'm picking it, but Baylor and UCSB is a popular one, and UCSB being the team, of course, for the upset.
There were plenty of upsets yesterday, so it's hard to imagine. I mean, they happen on basketball. It's hard to imagine there's going to be like some big. We did not do a good job betting yesterday as a show.
Well, the show parlay, all three struck out. If you faded all three, you hit. If you did the opposite, you hit. So keep that in mind when we talk about our.
So maybe you should take the over in the first half of the.
Go for it.
If you just think
what if we just hammered the Owls today, guys?
For the spread or on money line?
Spread.
What's
just
the line?
Absolutely.
I mean, Kennesaw
hammer
like
them relentlessly.
12.5-point dog or something like that.
Big East, not great this year. Bottom of that conference was
Xavier's
dog
12.5-point favorite. Go for it, Nick.
No. We
as a group,
as a team,
we're hammering Kennesaw State. I forget which side you want to be on here.
I mean, I think I've made it pretty clear which side I'm on because I've said their name 3 times.
And their mascot once.
The Owls. Hoot. They're a hoot to watch. I'll tell you that much.
You've watched them a lot?
We could hoot live on the air if they actually cover our bet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a first half Kennesaw State cover?
I have watched them a lot. They kind of...
You have watched Kennesaw State a lot?
Yeah. Well, they made their way through the Atlantic Sun Conference. And as we all know, that's an absolute grind show. You can't take a night off in the Atlantic Sun. No, you just can't. Because if you do, you'll slip up, and they didn't.
Did they even win the conference in the regular season?
Doesn't matter. They were tied for the win. And they won the conference tournament over Liberty. Big win, 1-point win in the conference tourney. Nobody saw that coming.
A lot of 21 teams in that Atlantic 10 conference, you know? Maybe they're
experienced bunch. They return a lot from last year.
What are you reading to even?
I'm my notes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you guys think? You gonna put some money on this?
I'm good.
What do you mean you're good?
Yeah, I'm not betting on Kennesaw State.
Why?
I don't want to do that.
Even after everything I've said.
Yes. It has nothing to do with It has nothing to do with you. I just don't want to. I don't want to bet the Kennesaw State spread. That's all. Which means it'll hit for you.
Feels like a little bit something to do with you.
Yeah, it does.
No, I have 5 bets pending. I'm good.
We all got in it. We already got a bet in with you. Why won't you come along with us?
It's not about hitting bets.
It's camaraderie.
It's about having fun.
I have 5 bets already pending in my sportsbook account.
Don't you want a reason to pay attention to that game?
I do. I have 5 pending bets
on that game. That game?
No. Over the first 3 games.
Do you have any bet on that game?
I do.
And what's the bet?
Okay. It is.
When were you going to share this information?
I thought
I'm sitting here trying to pry it out of you with a crowbar.
Under 72 in the first half, Kennesaw State and Xavier.
Do you like that one?
You guys should do the opposite. You guys should take
the opposite?
over.
We should be rooting against each other?
Just go ahead and take the over. Somebody's going to win.
I mean, that part of it does kind of make it fun.
Let me check. I did. I have some secret information about unders hitting when games are using certain brands of basketballs. So
what?
Yeah. This is next level stuff, guys.
This is the most.
This is next level
Saturday
stuff.
morning. Get your bets in. Call now. Information I've ever heard.
So are they using? Oh no! Do not take the first half under in this game.
Okay.
Do you know why? Because Kennesaw State. Oh yeah, they use a Wilson EVO NXT ball.
Yeah, they all use the same freaking basketball
Not
in the
true.
tournament.
Okay, during the season.
In the tournament, they all use the same basketball, man.
Okay, what if I told you
I don't
that
care what
teams
basketball they used all year? They're playing with the same basketball.
We have to take the opposite side of this because then somebody wins the bet.
Teams that use the Wilson EVO NXT ball during the regular season in conference tournaments.
The opposite of my bet, then.